Hey, what's up, everybody? Hutch here, and we're on module 3 now. Anyway, what we're going to do is take a look at this real quick. Your essential questions: how are operations with rational numbers related to operations with integers? So we're going to start off by just focusing on integers. You can see all the what you'll learn statements there. So a lot of good stuff. Some new vocabulary for you that you're probably not aware of. We're going to be dealing with absolute values, additive inverse property, some other properties as well, bar notation, getting into some distributive property, and especially order of operations to solve expressions and equations. And then the rest, some of those are pretty familiar to you. So what is an integer? An integer is a whole number that can be positive, negative, or zero, but that does not include fractions, decimals, things like that. It's a whole number, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at lesson 1 today. So lesson 1 is just about adding integers. Okay. And there's a song that I'd like you to experience. If you take a look, I'm going to go ahead and open this up real quick in Safari for you. You should be able to tap and do the same thing. And you can check out this beautiful song. These are just one of the best singers I've heard for adding integers. So check it out. Really beautiful singers. To the tune Row, Row, Row Your Boat.
Same sign, add and keep, different signs subtract. Use the sign of a bigger number, then you'll be exact. Same sign, add and keep, different signs subtract. Use the sign of a bigger number, then you'll be exact.
You should close your eyes and see if you can say it.
Same sign, add and keep, different signs subtract. Use the sign of a bigger number, then you'll be exact.
See, beautiful, huh? I loved it. Anyway, that's what we're going to be referencing a lot. So we sing the song when adding integers. And here is the song written out here. You have same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. So it's just a trick or a rule that we can follow. Use the sign of the bigger number, then you'll be exact. So I'll walk you through what that means, but we're also going to talk about the concept of adding integers or adding positive or negative numbers. And so one thing I want you to see is you are going to have to understand how to represent this on a number line. So you're always going to start at 0 and then represent the first number. So here's the first number we're representing. And so you would start at 0 and you would move 3 negatives. So negative is going to be to the left. Okay. After that, then we're adding another negative. Okay. So you can see here's our second number we're going to represent. And so we would be continuing 4 spots to the left, and it's going to end on a final answer of -7. So just remember, the starting point is always going to be 0, and then you represent that first number, okay? For this one, we have a -5 plus a -4. So just think if you have 2 negative numbers, again, remember we're starting at 0, we're representing the -5 first, and then we're representing the -4, and we'll end up at -9 as our answer. So a -5 plus another -4 ends up with a -9. Okay. So here's some examples, and we'll get into the song a little bit too. Okay, so I want you to have some practice with the number line. So our first number is a -7. You need to start at 0. Okay, and represent the -7. So from 0, we'll go like this, and we're going to go -7. Okay, so here's the -7 to here. Okay, now that we're at -7, now we can, a little bit above, we can represent the addition of the -2. So I'm going to just put a little point here, go 2, and there we go. And our final answer is going to be right here at -9. Okay, and so there's our answer, -9. Okay, the song, just remember, goes same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. Okay, so these signs are the same. They're both negative. And so we say -7 plus a -2. We just add them. So 7 plus 2 is 9. And we keep the sign that is already there. Same signs add and keep. So that's just the trick. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that over here. Okay, we have two numbers. Okay, look at their signs of the actual numbers. So are they the same? Yep, they're the same. So we say same signs, add and keep. Okay, and so we're going to add them together. So 11 plus 5 is 16. Okay, and so we have 16. Same signs, add and keep. So keep the sign. Okay, and there we go. So because it's an expression, I'm working down. Notice there's no equal sign here. Anyway, all right. So let's go ahead to example 2. Okay, some word problems here. Adding integers with the same sign. So Allie borrowed 139 from her parents to purchase an ebook. During the first month, she purchased 47 apps, games, and movies, which added to the amount she owed her parents. What integer represents the amount of money Allie had at the end of the first month? Okay. And so we have that she borrowed 139 from her parents, and then she purchased 47, and which was added to the amount she already owed. And so let's go ahead and talk about how much her debt is. So one of the things I want you to do is when you see things like borrowing 139, that means she's at negative 139 right now. And then she spent more and she purchased $47 in apps. Okay, so she also has a negative 47. Okay, so at this point, we can add those amounts together to show how much she owes her parents or how much debt she has, okay, at the end. And so let's go ahead and write our expression. So we have negative 139 plus another negative of 47. Notice that I'm always going to be adding the negative. I'm not writing 139 minus 47, okay? Same signs, add and keep. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my calculator. And we have 139 negative, okay, so that's going to be something new to get used to also. You type the number and then tap negative, plus 47 negative equals. And so down below we have 186 is the amount. Let's answer the question though. What integer represents the amount of money Allie had at the end of the first month? Negative 186 represents the amount Allie had, okay, because she's in debt. Let's go ahead and circle our answer. All right, go ahead and try this one out. A contestant on a game show has negative 1,500 points and then loses another 750 points. If you're losing 750 points, what integer would you write for that? Okay, if you said negative 750, you would be correct. So what is his new score? If he had negative 1,500 and lost another negative amount, what is his new score? So let's go ahead and write your expression first. Plus another negative. Okay, so what is his new score? 1,500. And so instead of writing negative, remember you have this trick or this song. We can say same signs, they're both negative. Same signs, add and keep. So I can just do 1,500 plus 750 and then keep the negative. So negative 2,250 is my answer. Okay. Now, one thing that you'll see a lot is you'll see this negative in parentheses. That doesn't mean multiplication. It's negative 1,500 plus a negative 750, but we're just separating those two symbols or those two signs. Okay. All right. So we can go ahead and put this as new score. Okay. All right. Now, One thing to just be aware of is it's important to know what creates a zero pair, which is also called additive inverses. Okay, so basically, what can you add to it to cancel it out or inverse it so that you're canceled out and you are now zero? Okay, and so they give you the example of a positive 4 plus a negative 4 is the additive inverse. Okay, it's what you're adding to create 0. Okay, so if you look at this table, we have a negative 1. The additive inverse of that would be 1, which would equal 0. So if you have a positive 2, what would be the additive inverse? A negative 2. If you have a negative 3, you have 3 as the additive inverse. If you have a negative 4, obviously the opposite, which is all we're doing, is that and that. So pretty simple. That's what additive inverse is. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and find some additive inverses. For example, 3. We have a trail beginning at an elevation of 150 feet above sea level. This is going to be a common phrase. I want you to sort of picture this as sea level. Okay. And sea level is always going to be 0. Okay. So anything above sea level is positive. Anything below sea level is negative. So that'll be just a good visual to keep in mind. So anyway, we're 150 feet above sea level, so I'm going to mark a positive with that one. And it leads down to the shore of the ocean, which has an elevation of 0. So what integer represents the change in elevation of the trail from beginning to end? So obviously I started at 150 feet above. I went down to 0. Well, how far did I go down? I went down negative 150. That's my additive inverse. Okay, so let's go ahead and circle your answer. A puffin is flying at 29 feet above sea level. So I'm at positive. What is the elevation in feet that I'll have to fly to reach sea level? Obviously, the added inverse would be what? If you said negative 29 to get us to 0, you would be correct. Okay, all right. Now we have the next part of the song. So remember we had same signs, add and keep, different signs, subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger digit, then you'll be exact. So now we're going to be dealing with different signs. So I want you to see what that looks like on a number line. So if we had something like 5 plus a negative 3, remember to represent it, we're always going to start at, do you remember? If you said 0, you're right. Okay, so start at 0. And represent the first number. And the first number is 5. And so we're going to represent the first number by going up. We're going to go over 5 with our arrow to show that and stop. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and represent my next integer, which is negative 3. So this means I'm currently right here. I'm going to pull out a point. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go to right here. And so my final number I land on is 2. And you can see the journey I went on to represent this. So positive 5 and negative 3. So thinking of the song, different sign, subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger digit. So different sign, subtract. 5 minus 3 is 2. Keep the sign of the bigger digit. Okay. Sorry, Ahmad. Go back. There we go. And the bigger digit, okay, ignoring positive or negative, is a 5, which is positive. So we end up with a positive 2 at the end. All right, let's look at it on a vertical number line. Okay, so same thing. We'll represent the 5 first, starting at 0. And so I'm going to go up from 0. Okay, and I need to represent the positive 5 first. This is a different problem. Let's see. That's okay. Ignore that vertical number line right there. Let's go ahead to example 4 with the trick. I'm only ignoring that. You can see the number line doesn't match that problem. So that was for something else. All right, so let's go to example 4 and check this out. Okay, and we'll use the song, the trick. So I noticed that this is a positive and this is a negative. Okay, the positive isn't shown. If you don't see a negative, it's just positive. So different sign, subtract. Okay, so 11 minus 4 is 7. Keep the sign of the bigger digit, then you'll be exact. Okay, so the bigger digit, it's sort of like in quotes because we know if a negative was 12, well, negative really isn't bigger, but we're just looking at the digit. and not paying attention to positive or negative. So we have the bigger number is 11. It's positive, so the 7 stays positive. And you don't need to write a positive symbol there, okay? So there we go, okay? Let's try it out here, okay? Do you have same signs or different signs? So think about the song, okay? We have a positive 10 here and a negative, so that's different signs. So we go different signs, subtract. So we're always going to subtract the bigger from the smaller, ignoring the signs. So 22 minus 10 is 12. So different signs, subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number, then you'll be exact. Well, the bigger one is 22, and it's negative. Okay, so think about that. We started at negative 22, added 10. Well, we're not out of the negatives. We're still at negative 12. So there we go. Okay, so that's what we're doing with integers. All right. Word problem version, a whale swam at a depth of 275 feet below the surface. Where would below be, positive or negative? Negative. After 10 minutes, it rose. What would rising be? Would that be positive or negative? Positive. So we have a negative 275 plus a positive 194. So let's go ahead and show that. Okay. And you can notice it's sort of silly for me to put plus positive 194. I can just go ahead and put plus 194 since we know that's positive. It doesn't have a negative symbol. All right, and then how'd the song go? Same signs, add and keep, different signs, subtract. Okay, because right now on a number line, think about it, I'm very low on the number line right now. Okay, very far left, and I'm going to add the 194. Okay, so let's subtract. Okay, so 275 minus 194. Okay, so I'm at 81. But think about where I am on the number line. Different sign, subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number, then you'll be exact. The bigger one is negative because I only moved 194 to the right on the number line from the negative 275. So I'm still nowhere near 0 because the additive inverse would have to be 275 to get to 0. All right, so there we go. Okay, next one, let's go ahead and do a check. At 5 o'clock p.m., a thermometer shows an outside temperature of 2 degrees. Is that positive or negative? And then over the next 3 hours, it drops 11. What's drop mean? Good, if you said negative. Which integer represents the thermometer reading now at 8 o'clock? Okay, and so list what happened. You started at a positive 2, and then we're adding a negative 11. Okay, you could put minus 11, but we're adding integers, and so we're going to represent it this way. Okay, so think about it on a number line. If you imagine where we are, here's 0. I'm at 2 right here, okay, and then I'm going to add a negative 11. So I'm going to be going this way 11 spaces, okay. So same signs, add and keep. This one's this one. Different signs, subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger digit. So 11 minus 2, we're at 9. Keep the sign of the bigger number, then you'll be exact. The bigger number is negative. Okay, so I move to a negative 9. Okay, and then circle it. Okay, all right. Now you're going to run into not just having 2, but having more than that. And so let's go ahead and take a look. One thing I'd always look for is see if you have an additive inverse anywhere that just is going to cancel out to 0. I don't in this situation. So we're just going to move left to right. Okay, because it's all addition, commutative property says you can move these around any order, but I'm just going to go left to right to not complicate things. So we have a negative 26 plus a 74. Okay, so as we go with this, you need to be making little notes. Okay, so I'll show you sort of how to work through this. Okay, so same signs, add and keep, different signs, subtract. So these two are different signs. Okay, we have a negative 26 and a positive 74. So 74 minus 26. So different signs, subtract, keep the sign of the bigger digit. So right now we're at 48. And then we're going to bring down what's left over and sort of have this upside down period. Okay, so here's our two new problems, 48 plus a negative 14. So same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. 48 minus 14. Keep the signs of the bigger digit that's positive, then you'll be exact, and there's our answer. Okay. All right, go ahead and try the check over here. You can pause and do it and then check, or you can do it with me. All right, so I'm going to do my first two integers. I have a negative 14 and a positive 8. Okay, same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. So there we go. Keep the signs of the bigger digit, that's the negative, then you'll be exact. Okay, now, oh, look at that. We have a negative 6 plus a negative 6. So same signs add and keep. Add them, keep the negative. Because think about it, we're just adding two negatives. So that means we have more negative. Okay, all right. Now we have example 7, add 3 or more integers. A roller coaster starts at point A, which is 43 feet above. It ascends, then descends, then ascends. And you have to know ascends means goes up. Descending means going down. What is the height of the roller coaster at point B in relationship to the ground? So let's go ahead and set up this entire thing. Okay, if we're at 0, we're going up 43. Okay, then we're adding a 55 because we're going up again, and then we're descending from that height. So descending means what? Going down, but we're not going to just do minus, we're going to do add a negative instead. Okay, so add the negative 80, and then we're going up, so we're going to add the 110, and we need to know where we're at the end here. So let's go ahead and solve this out. Let me move this over. Obviously 43 plus 55, we can represent that as 98, okay? And now you got to bring everything down, okay? And now we have the 98 plus the negative 80, okay? So different signs subtract, 98 minus 80. Keep the signs of the bigger digit, then you'll be exact. The bigger is positive, so right now we're at positive 18 plus 110. So 18 plus 110 puts us at 128 feet. Let's see what the question actually asked. What is the height of the roller coaster at point B in relationship to the ground? So the height, Height, of the roller coaster is at 128 feet at point B. And there's my answer. Okay. All right, let's go to this check, and this is our last bit of notes here, and then we'll check out the homework. An unmanned submarine is doing tests along the ocean bottom. This is showing the depth, the change in depth of the submarine each minute for 4 minutes. Okay, what is the total change? So the change in depth, it's not at negative 50. Well, it is, but it started at 0. Well, it started somewhere. We don't really know, but it changed negative 50. So let's go ahead and start laying these out. So we have a negative 50, negative 150. And then what was the next change? It was positive 162. Plus, what was the next change? Negative 175, so it went down then. Plus, it went down again, another negative amount. So let's go ahead and calculate this out. I'm going to do this set first. So let's think about our rule. We're at negative 50, adding 162. So we're definitely going past 0 and going into the positive. Same size add and keep, different signs subtract. So I'll do 162 minus 150. Keep the sign of the bigger digit, then you'll be exact. The bigger one is the 162, it's positive. So right now we're at 12. Okay, rewrite everything here. Okay, I know it's annoying to rewrite it, but you need to do it. It's going to set you up for algebra later and keep you all organized. All right. I'll go ahead and do the next one, which is right here. Look at the signs. different signs, subtract. 175 minus 12. And we get 163. Keep the sign of the bigger digit. That's negative. There we go. Then you'll be exact. Bring everything down. Okay. Look at the signs. Same signs. They're both negative. Same signs. Add and keep. Come on. There we go. So we have 343. Same signs, add and keep. They're both negative, and so there we go with a negative 343. Okay, total change. And there you go. Okay, so that's your process. Let's go ahead and check out the practice and homework. We have a lot of different examples, but I want you to do a little bit more than usual just because it's really good fluency with everything. Let's go ahead and start off with number 17, actually, before we get into the easy fluency ones. So one of the things that we talked about was this additive inverse. And the additive inverse was this understanding that a 4 going with a negative 4 automatically equals 0. Okay, it's their opposites basically. So what I want you to do is sort of use that information to think about A, B, and C here. Okay, I want you to be thinking at a little bit deeper level. So we have a negative 10 here, okay, and we have a positive 11 here. Well, what would this one need to be for us to make 0? Because all of these we need the value to equal 0. Well, so if we have a positive 11, wouldn't we need this one to be a negative 11? Okay, well, it's not quite negative 11, it's negative 10. So what would I need x to be so that I actually have negative 11? Well, I need that to be a negative 1, because negative 1 plus a negative 10 is going to create my negative 11. Okay, so I have negative 10 and negative 1. That's my negative 11. And so now I have a negative 11 and a positive 11, and I know that equals 0. Okay, and so there we go. Okay, so now, and that's how you can represent it if you want. So let's look at the next ones. Okay, we have a 7 and a negative 10. Well, if I wanted to have a 0 pair, okay, right now I have a negative 10. I would need the 7 to be a positive 10. Well, it's not. Right now it's just a 7, right? How would I get that to be a positive 10? Well, I'd add 3 more. So this x would have to be 3 for me to have the 7 and the 3 equal 10. And then I'd have a positive 10 and a negative 10. And we know that would equal 0. Okay, and then the next one, okay, you can do on your own and think about this. Oh, we already have a positive 1 and a negative 1. Interesting. So I guess what would x have to be? Those are already 0. So what would x have to be for it to stay 0? You can go ahead and enter that yourself. Okay, and then we can talk about it tomorrow. All right, let's go ahead up and get some fluency going with this. This will be your homework tonight, anything not done, but let's crank through. I want you to remember that song, same signs, add and keep, different signs, subtract. Keep the signs of the bigger digit, then you'll be exact. So let's go ahead through these. I'll do 1, 2, and 3. You're in charge of 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Actually, I'm going to cancel that because we have some 2s and 3s there. I'll do 1 for, let's see, what will I do? I'll do 1, 4, 5, and you can do 2, 3, 6. Let's do that instead. Okay. All right. So here we go. Look at the signs. So what part of the song are you going to sing? Same signs, add and keep. So 8, 9, 10, 11, and keep, meaning keep that sign. Okay, so there we go. All right, number 4. Okay, I don't see the same signs. I see a negative and a positive. So different signs, subtract. 28 minus 14. okay, is 14. Different sign subtract, keep the sign of the bigger digit, then you'll be exact negative 14. So obviously be careful, you don't want to forget your negatives. All right, we have 3 integers. I have a negative 22 and a negative 10. Let's take care of them first. I'm going to underline them like this to show which ones I'm taking care of. Same signs, add and keep. 22 plus 10 is 32. But keep, and there we go. And now we have our plus 15 gets brought down. And now we have different signs. Different signs subtract. 32 minus 15. Keep the sign of the bigger digit. Okay, well, the negative 32 is a larger amount than the positive 15. So staying negative, we never got out of the negative. And then you'll be exact. All right, so you have 2, 3, and 5, 6 to do. All right, let's do some word problem ones. You can see the example 2, 3, 5, and so on. So let's check it out. Your tip for this one, it's word problems. Start labeling in the word problem. You must do it. I always tell you do it. He owes his father $15. That means that's a negative. That's a debt. And then he borrows another 25. So he's negative again. So you have to notice that. It doesn't tell you. What integer represents the balance that he still owes his father now? I want you to write the expression. So we're writing negative 15 plus another negative 25. We're not writing minus. Same signs, add and keep. So we're adding them and then keeping the negative. So 25, 35, 40. So we're at negative 40. What represents the balance? Well, that integer represents the balance. It doesn't actually say what money, it just says what integer. So we can put negative 40 to answer the question. Okay. All right. Then we have number 8 is for you to do. Let's go ahead and I'll do number 9. Kwan's Kwan, see, good name. His beginning account balance was $20. So he has an account balance. So that's a positive. So you have to know what these words are, like balance. His ending balance is 0 though. What integer represents the change in his account from the beginning to the end? So what happened? We were at positive 20 and then we went to 0. Well, remember this one is all about the additive inverse. So how did we get to 0? The change was a negative 20. Okay. And so there we go. So you have 10 to do, which is similar. Number 11. This table shows Jules' scores for the first 9 holes and the second 9 holes of her game. What integer represents her score for the entire game? So you have to know what 3 over par is. It says over, so do you think that's positive or negative? If you said positive, you're right. That's a plus 3. 4 under is a negative 4. Let's go ahead and represent her score now. So we're going to join together. So we have a plus 3, okay, plus a negative 4 in parentheses. Remember, you wouldn't really put the plus 3 at the beginning of there. Okay, it's understood that it's positive. All right, what's the song? Same sides, add and keep. Nope. Different signs, subtract. 4 minus 3 is 1. Keep the sign of the bigger digit, which is negative. Then you'll be exact. Okay, what integer represents her score for the entire game? Negative 1 represents her score. So she's 1 under for her entire game. All right, number 12 is you. All right, 13, example 7. Woo. All right, in 20 seconds, a roller coaster goes up a 100-meter hill, then down, then back up. All right, so it's this journey we're going on, right? So let's represent it as an expression. Okay, so it goes up, so that's a positive 100. We're just writing 100. Then it goes down. Remember, we're adding the integer, so add a negative 72. You might even want to go like this and go through here and identify the integers. Okay, it goes back up, so there's a positive. And then, so let's go ahead and add the next one, plus 48 anymore. How much higher or lower from the start of the ride is the coaster after the 20 seconds? Let's go ahead and solve it then. Okay, we'll take care of this first. Same signs, add and keep. Different signs, subtract. 100 minus 72. Keep the sign of the bigger digit. The bigger is the positive 100. So we're at 28 right now. Okay, bring down the 48. Same signs, add and keep. It's a normal addition problem. 28 plus 48. And we're at 76. So how much higher or lower from the start? Well, it's positive, so higher. 76 meters higher. There we go. All right, you can go ahead and do 14 on your own, and then let's head to these. We have 2 applies. I'll do the first one, and then you can explore the last one. And we know applies are always thinking and combining our thinking and pushing ourselves to the next level. Okay, so really work hard to try to process these. It's good practice for you. The table shows the transactions for 1 week for Tasha and Jamal. Or Jamal. Who has the greater account balance at the end of the week, and how much greater? So remember, my trick with this is who has the greater account. I'm going to make a little note, and how much greater, make a little note that I have 2 things I have to answer. All right, so let's go ahead and break this down. Here's Tasha. She has a positive because that's a deposit. Then she has a withdrawal. That's a negative. And then another deposit. And then a debit card purchase. So what happens when you purchase stuff? Well, you don't gain money, you lose it. Okay. So this is going to be the same for Jamal also because those labels are the same. And so we just need to find who has, like, what the balances are at the end. Okay. So I'm just going to make a little note here of balances. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and solve these out. Okay. So first, I'm going to just be making some little notes. So we have 250 and a negative 20. Okay. So same signs, add and keep, different signs, subtract. So we're doing 250 minus 20, which is obviously 230. So I'm just going to make some notes. So right now I'm at positive 230, okay, for Tasha. Okay. I could even represent it. I'll do it this way. So I'll just show those that equals a positive 230. Now I need to add 65. So obviously you know how adding works. So I'm going to go ahead and represent this like that. So we have 230 plus, was it 65? That's not it. 230 plus 65. We have 295. Okay. And pay attention, is it positive? 230 plus 60, yeah, we're all positive here. And then we have a negative 46, so we're adding a negative, okay, which you're seeing is the same thing as just subtracting. So 295 minus 46, and we have $249 balance in this account, okay? So let's go ahead and find Jamal's balance. So we have the 200 and we have a negative 60, different sign, subtract. So 200 minus 60 is 140. Okay, and then we're adding 135. So 140 plus 135 is 275. So here's my new amount, 275. And then I'm going to take that and I'm adding a negative 27 or just subtracting. So minus 27. And we're at $2 or $248. Okay, so pretty close. So who has the greater account balance? Question 1. Tasha has the greater balance. And how much greater? By $1. There we go. I'm just going to answer it all in one. Okay. All right. There we go. So you can toy around with number 16. Remember, you're going to start off by labeling everything. So I'm starting at a positive 340. Descending means going down, then going up, then going down. How many feet will the balloon need to travel to return to the ground? So you're going to find out where the balloon is at, and then you need to, since you know where it's at, you need to tell how far does it need to travel to go to the ground. Okay, represent it as an integer. So if it's still in the air, it's going to have to go a negative amount to get back down to 0. Okay, all right, so you can go ahead and work on those and let me know if you have any questions.